Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Radford, joining you from Lambton College in Sarnia today. I'm joined by our housing support coordinator in Ottawa, Akash. Morning, Akash. How are you?
Good, Matt. How are you?
Good. Thank you. So the purpose of today's session is to support our new international students joining Lambton, Ottawa for the winter 2025 intake. As I'm sure you know, registration opened a few weeks ago. Many of you have already registered. If you haven't, the registration deadline is December 6th. We do encourage you to register as early as possible. The sooner you complete the registration, the sooner we can begin preparing for your arrival. As I said, today's session is focused on housing, helping you understand how to reach Ottawa, how to find housing within the community, whether it's on campus or off campus, what resources are available to you, things to look for, things to watch out for. And then at the end of this will be an opportunity for you to ask questions as well. So if at any point you have a question, feel free to type it into the chat. Akash will go through a presentation first, probably answering a lot of questions along the way, but then at the end, we're happy to help with any further questions you may have. I will reiterate, today's session is for our Ottawa students. If you are a Sarnia student, you can watch a recording of our live session, which happened yesterday. It's here on our channel. But you can always contact us as well. Rob Tour is Akash's counterpart here in Sarnia, supporting our students joining this campus. So with that, I will pass the microphone over to you, Akash, and I'll let you tell us all about finding accommodation in Ottawa.
Thank you so much, Matt. And I welcome all the students to Lambton College, and congratulations for joining us. Finding accommodation in Ottawa, it's a very important topic. I understand finding accommodations from a different country might be difficult, but we are here to help you every step of the way. So let's dive in. Let's talk about different types of accommodations. Okay. Number one is short-term rental. So short-term rental, example, that you get or you land in Canada or Ottawa on December the 26th, and you are going to move into your long-term stay January the 1st. Where do you live for those 4 to 5 days? These are the places you can stay for those 4 to 5 days. You can stay either in a hotel, one of these hotels, which is Holiday Inn or Days Inn, or you could look into one of these homestay partners, which is Happy Pad or Space Share. All you have to do is go onto their websites, book a place, let them know you're a Lambton College student, so that you get exclusive pricing or exclusive discounts when you mention your Lambton College students. Again, this is for short-term stay. Okay. Moving on to long-term stays, there's tons of options which you could choose from. You could stay in an apartment, you could stay in a house, you can stay in homestay, off-campus student housing, or you can stay on the on-campus residence, which is the St. Paul University residence. Talk a little bit about the St. Paul University residence. It is basically connected to the college. You don't have to worry about the snow. You don't have to worry about the rain because it's connected to the college. If you want to apply to the St. Paul University residence, you could just go to the website, search St. Paul University residence, or you could just look at the link which I have on my presentation. The best way to do is just go Google and search St. Paul University residence, and you go to the website and there'll be an application form. So follow the steps. If you need more help, email me and I'll be able to help you out with the application. But keep in mind, all the suites are on first come, first serve basis, and only limited suites are available. Talking about the residence rate, for the winter term, starting January to April, it is $4,430 for the whole of the winter term. So starting January until the April, you would have to pay $4,430. All of this you would have to pay upfront. So before you move in or on the day of moving in, you have to pay the $4,430. Okay. You can also stay in the St. Paul University residence as a short-term stay. So say again, if you land in Ottawa and you're looking for a short-term stay, and if you would not like to use or stay in a hotel or a homestay, you could stay in the St. Paul University residence for $37.50 per day until the December 30th. Okay, if you are looking for that short-term stay, go email me. I will put my email at the end of the presentation. You can email me and I'll help you out on how to reserve your short-term stay. Okay. But again, remember, it is on first come, first serve basis, and only limited suites are available. Let's get into how the suites are going to look like in the residence. The suites are all furnished. So you have 2 private bedrooms in a suite. They have a bed, they have a desk, there's internet already in there, there's a TV, there's cable television, there's shared kitchen with other students. So if you're going to stay in the residence, all you have to bring is your pots, your pans, your bedding, which is a pillow. So stuff like that is what you would have to bring in. There's laundry rooms inside the residence. There's washers and dryers, which are coin operated. If you want to know more about the St. Paul University residence, you can email me, or just again go to the website and click on the amenities tab to know more. These are how the suites are going to look like. Not exactly the same, but this is how the floor plan will be. As you can see, there's 2 different bedrooms. They are furnished. There's a small common area. You have a fridge, you have a microwave, you have a dining table. There's a sink, and there's a washroom. The washroom will be shared. You wouldn't have your own private washroom, but you'll have your own private bedroom. Okay. Moving on to neighborhoods near the college. So say if you don't want to stay in the residence, but you want to stay off campus, there's tons of options. If you're looking to stay in one of the neighborhoods, all of these neighborhoods are about 10 to 25 or 30 minutes in transit to the campus. SPU residents are written there. It's basically connected. Centertown, Glebe, Old Ottawa East, Sandy Hill, Old Ottawa South, and Overbrook. All of these are, again, like I said, 10 minutes to half an hour transit to the campus. Here, the list of property management groups around the campus, and like I said, in those neighborhoods in the previous slide, CLV Group, Homestead, Smart Living Properties, Fleming Property Management, Paramount Properties, Lease Avenue, Riverside Apartments. Lease Avenue is basically 15 minutes walk from the college, or 10 to 15 minutes walk from the college. Okay, you could just search Lease Avenue Apartments and you'll go onto the website and look at the pricing. Okay, CLV Group is providing a month and a half on certain properties, a month and a half of free rent on certain properties. You could go onto CLV Group and explore those options. All of these property management groups are listed on our website. So if you go to lambtoncollege.ca, then go to Ottawa and then click on the housing tab, you'll be able to see all of these property management groups on there. So explore those options, see what works best. If you have questions, email me and I'll be able to help you out. Moving on to rental application forms. So say you go to CLV Group and you are filling in lease application, or you're filling in for a place or a 1-bedroom apartment. This is how the rental application form will look like. Number one thing which you have to remember is the number of residents. Make sure you're putting in the number of residents who will be staying in that apartment. Okay, your social insurance number. Okay, you will need when you will get this when you get here. When you land in Canada, say you're in Ottawa, you have to get your SIN number. Okay, and that's what you have to put in there. Okay, moving on to the second part of the lease application, you will have to also put in the contact details or the information about the residents who will be living with you. So this is a very important part which you have to keep in mind. Make sure you're putting in the name and information about the people who are going to stay with you. Okay, rental rates. Keep in mind or go back to the letter of acceptance. Read what's on there. You've agreed to have $1,500 set aside as for your living expenses. So keep that in mind when you're looking for your accommodation or housing. If you're looking for a private room, it could cost you about $650 to $800 depending on the neighborhood, depending on how good the place is, how new the place is. So keep in mind, if you're looking for a private bedroom, a private room, this is what the rates are. Again, if you have any questions, you can email me. I'll be posting the email at the end of the slides. Moving on, what are utilities? So when you will be signing lease, a communication or a question should be asked. So say you're talking to a landlord via Facebook Marketplace. Make sure you are reaching out and asking the landlord if the utilities are included in the rent or the rent is plus utilities. So utilities are basically the bills you would have to pay with the place. It's electricity is called hydro, there's gas, there's water, there's phone and internet. Okay, Wi-Fi basically. So all of these, make sure before you sign the lease or when you're trying to communicate to the listing owner or the landlord or the leaseholder about what the rent looks like, make sure you're asking this question: is the utilities included in the rent or is the rent plus utilities? Okay. Rules and regulation, very important. Every property management group or house has their own rules and regulation. All of this will be written on the lease. If it's not written on the lease, make sure you talk to or communicate to the landlord or leaseholder and get it on the lease. Okay. Bylaw rules, noise rules, fire, parking. How many parking spots do you need a parking spot? How many parking spots do you need? Make sure all of this is on the lease. Mowing grass and snow shoveling. So basically, who will be cutting the grass and who will be shoveling the snow? So make sure all of this is on the lease. Okay. Research before renting. It's as easy as test driving the car before you're actually buying it. So research the community neighborhood before renting. See if you're looking to stay near a park or if you're looking to stay near a grocery store, go have a look at it. Have a look at the neighborhood and see if there's any grocery stores nearby. Look at the bus routes and schedule. If you have classes at 9 a.m., make sure you go and do a research and find out if there's buses at 8:15 or 8:20, so that you can get to the college on time. Look at if the place is furnished or unfurnished. Furnished is basically you have furniture there, you have your bed, etc. So you basically have to bring in your own personal items. Unfurnished is where you have to go buy your bed, you have to go buy your sheets, you have to go buy your kitchen items and stuff like that. Utilities included, like I mentioned, ask the landlord, are the utilities included in the rent or the rent is plus utilities? View the property and meet the landlord. Go and view the property. Sometimes what you'll see in the photos and sometimes when you go in person are two different places. So go and view the property and meet the landlord. If you require more help in verifying a place, if the place looks the way it is in the pictures, reach out to me and I can go and have a look at the place and send you an email. This is where we come to help you out. This is a very, 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 very important topic, rental scams. Unfortunately, this is on the high, but we are here to help you every step of the way. Never ever deal in cash. Do not deal in cash with any of the landlords. Always go to e-transfer or a bank check, but make sure you have a trace of the transfer you've done. Never rent without seeing the property. Again, like I mentioned, test drive the car before actually buying it. So make sure you go look at the place before actually signing the lease. And we are here to help. If you want to go, if you're not in the country and if you want to go and find if the place is real or if the place looks like the way in the pictures, reach out to me and I can go and have a look for you and give you additional information about the place. Speak to the current tenants to find out how the landlord is, how the neighborhood is. Demand a written lease. Always demand a written lease so that you can go back and have a look at all the responsibilities, all the utilities and all the rules, so that you can always have something to refer back on. Be careful of too good to be true rates. And if you have any questions, again, you can email me and I can help you with all the questions you have. That's it from my end, man.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks so much, Akash. Bear with me for one moment. We'll just type into the chat here.
Yeah, no problem.
Ottawa Housing at lambtoncollege.ca. So everyone knows how to get a hold of you. I think we have a couple of questions in the chat. So as a reminder, if you do have any questions about finding housing, reaching Ottawa, really anything, Akash and I are here. This is your time. We're happy to answer any questions you may have. I will just, as you may be thinking of questions, I'll just highlight some survey results. Every year, we like to survey our incoming international students and ask them about their experience finding housing. So we did that just a few months ago with our fall 2024 intake students. And I just thought some of the useful data to share here. So about 66% of our students found their housing before they even reached Canada. And that is a testament to the work that Akash does, because like he said, you don't want to rent if you haven't seen it first. So even if you are out of the country, but you see a property, you're interested, you want to learn more, reach out to Akash. He's there to help. And 2/3 of our students, that's how they found their housing this fall. In terms of rent, the majority of our students are paying between sort of the $300 and $700 range. Now, the cost of rent is of course, very dependent on your lifestyle, how many roommates you want to have, where you live, how close or far, and so forth. But that gives you a rough idea of where our students are living. Half of our students found furnished apartments, half of them are furnished accommodations, half that were unfurnished. That's again a personal preference thing. Some people like to move in and make it their own. Some people like to already have the furnishings there and just keep it really simple, move in ready. So those options, as we saw, were available to all of our students. So what we will do now is Eric Walker, who's always behind the scenes here, he will, if you have any questions, he'll put those up on screen, and Akash and I will do our very best to answer them. So first one here is, will the social insurance number be required for booking, applying for short-term rentals as well?
I'll go for this one. You won't need your SIN number to apply for your short-term rentals. Hotels won't require this information. They'll require basically, again, your name, your information, not your SIN number. And if you're trying to apply to the residents for short-term stay, they won't ask you for this either. They'll ask you for your student ID number so that they can recognize that you are a Lambton College student to give you that exclusive dollar amount or the resident amount. So you don't need your SIN number for applying for any short-term stays.
Yeah, excellent question. Next question, does using washing machines and dryers also categorize under utilities?
Yes. So because you'll be using electricity to run the washer and the dryer, and you'll be using water for the washing machine. So basically, yes, you'll be considered under utilities, but great question.
Yeah, good question. And you also want to make sure if your accommodation has a washing machine and a dryer, you also want to make sure you take care of it, right? Yeah. So when you move in, if it's working, by the time you move out at the end of your stay, it should still be in the same condition, working. Make sure you take care of all of those things that are included with the property as well. Generally, do we as a tenant also have to pay some contribution in the documentation fees for the rental lease agreement? I haven't heard of that before. Is that something that? Yeah.
Nothing in Ottawa. So in Ontario or in Canada, you would have to pay for. There's two things to keep in mind when you sign a lease. You have to pay for the first month's rent and the last month's rent. Either that's one scenario, or the second scenario is you would have to pay your first month's rent and you have to pay a security deposit. So security deposit is basically when you move out. And like Matt mentioned that make sure if the washing machine is provided, it's in working condition when you leave. So that security deposit is used. If you're moving out and the washing machine is not working, or there's a hole in the wall, they use that security deposit to fix that, and bills will be provided to you, and that security deposit will be used to fix that. So those are the two scenarios. So first month's rent and first month's rent and last month's rent is one scenario, and second thing which they'll ask you, if they ask you, is again first month's rent and the security deposit, either or.
Yeah. So yeah, if a landlord is asking you for extra money for the lease agreement to actually write the lease agreement, that would be unusual. So I would probably contact Akash, but before you would move forward with something like that. That's not a common practice.
While we wait for some questions to come in, there's certain things to keep in mind when we're trying to find accommodation is your transit time. So if you're if you're thinking that Gatineau, where the rental rates are a little lower, is a good option, but you have to is a good option. You have to keep this in mind that you'll be spending, say, an hour and a half, or an hour 45 on peak timings to get to the college, because Gatineau is right across the water which is in Quebec. So to get to the college, which is in Ontario, you have to go through a bridge, and there's always traffic. So if you're thinking that you want to stay in Gatineau, keep this in mind. You'll be spending an hour and a half, an hour 45 just to get to the campus. So as a personal suggestion, because I've been a student myself not so long ago of Lambton College Sarnia campus, prefer staying closer to the campus so you're not spending time in transit. Try to go through the neighborhoods which I had in mind: Old Ottawa East, South, Centertown, Glebe. All of those are, again, like I said, 10 minutes to half an hour in transit to the college. And if you have more questions about any other place or any of the neighborhoods you want to live in, or you have questions about it, email me or post it in the chat, and I'll be able to answer those.
Yeah, great advice. I also, Ottawa is such a beautiful city. Anywhere, if you can walk to places, even if it takes 30 minutes, it's just a nice walk along the canal or through a park or whatever the case may be. It's a great community to move around through.
Most definitely. While we wait for more questions, I'll talk a little bit about the transportation. So if you're landing in Ottawa, you would have to get an Uber, a Lyft, or a private taxi to get to your accommodation. And if you're landing in Montreal, you have tons of options to get to Ottawa. You can get Flixbus or a Via Rail to get to the campus, and you could do the same from Toronto. So keep those in mind. Again, if you have any questions about how to get to campus or how to get to Ottawa from Toronto, Ottawa, or Montreal, reach out to me, and I'll be able to help you out. I'll be out with those questions. And if you're looking to get to know more about the local transit, we have OC Transport, city transportation. We have buses, and we have trains which can get you from your housing or from your accommodation to the college. You can go to octransport.ca to get more information, or again, email me and I'll be able to answer the questions for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. One of the things that we do at Lambton College as well, which is different than some colleges. Some colleges, what they do is they include the OC Transport pass right in the student's tuition, which the students sort of think it's included, but it's not included. You're paying for it. You're actually paying for it, plus you're paying an administrative fee to the college that has purchased it on your behalf. So we much prefer letting students make their decision. You might live on campus in the first term, and you can walk right to class, and you can walk to your job, and then you don't need a transportation pass. So save the money. We don't want to just automatically then be charging you for it. So we like to leave it to our students to make that decision, which I think is really important. Awesome. I think we have one more question here, and then I think we'll or maybe one or two more questions, and then we can wrap it up. And of course, if anyone has further questions, Ottawa Housing at lambtoncollege.ca, get in touch with Akash, and he's always there. Yeah. So Sushil asks, I heard from a friend in Toronto that they suffered from bed bug infestation when they moved in. So my question is, if I ask about that before I rent, is the disclosure enforced or an obligation?
So
essentially, how much are the landlords obliged to disclose?
So the rental properties need to be maintained, which complies with like the health and safety and housing standards. So before even they move in, they'll let you know that, hey, we've done our part about spraying pesticides or doing some bed bug infestation maintenance to get rid of the bed bugs, and that's when they'll get you to move in. But they will tell you that if something like this is happening, and say that you've moved in and then you found something like this, you can go and complain to the property management group or the landlord, and they have to take action. You have the right to tell them, and you have the right to stay in a safe place. So they have to take action against this, and they will do the bed bug infestation maintenance I'm not quite sure what the term is for that, but they'll make sure the bed bugs are gone before you move in, or when you're already there. And if you find bed bugs, they'll get the treatment done, and they'll pay for everything. You don't have to pay for anything. But in Ottawa, I've not heard anyone having any bed bug infestation, and none of our students stay in a place where they have bed bugs. So that might just be in Toronto.
Yeah, that's something too as well. You can ask, if let's say it's an apartment building, ask some of the other tenants, see if you can get in touch with them, ask for references, ask for, who's currently staying in the unit, to get their referral or their reference, and just get some additional feedback too about the property and the landlord. And doing a bit of research at the front end can save you potential headaches on the back end. So that's really important as well. Awesome. So great questions, everyone. Thank you so much. Akash, thanks for your time as always, and for the support that you give to all of our students that are arriving in Canada, many arriving for the first time. So I think this is, I was just trying to look at my schedule here. I think this is the last virtual session that you'll see us before we meet you in person when you get here for the winter intake. So as a reminder, registration closes on December 6th. Please complete the registration process as early as possible. We do appreciate it to help prepare for your arrival. Safe travels, everyone. It was great to have you here today. Any other questions, concerns? OttawaHousing@lambtoncollege.ca. Otherwise, we look forward to meeting you in person very soon. Bye for now, everyone.